in their hospitals are from outside their cities. For the meantime, Abalos says the region will have one alert level instead of per local government. George Kailes, CNN Philippines.
While the hospital group understands the need to shift to a new alert system to boost the economy, it doubts the new scheme will be effective in lowering COVID-19 cases. The Private Hospitals Association says government data on transmission rates are still unreliable because contact tracing remains slow and still tends to miss other close contacts. Data from the health department show the interval between detection to isolation is at 6 to 7 days, a slight improvement from 7 to 11 days in 2020. But still far from the ideal 2 to 3 days according to other health experts.
Yung bago nating alert levels na yan, I'm not sure if na-consult din nila yung mga healthcare workers. Ang nakikita kong problem dyan is ang basis nung levels, leveling, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ang basis nila is yung first is the case transmission, It's okay, as long as yung ating contact tracing, yung ating is very credible, and well done yung ating contact tracing. But presently, parang kulang yung contact tracing natin. So we cannot have siguro a very reliable case transmission rate.
Tegraño added hospital occupancy rates should not be the basis for the alert levels, as some hospitals cater to patients from other provinces. Now, 214 more people died of COVID-19. This is the second straight day the health department recorded more than 200 fatalities. The death toll is now at over 35,700. The agency also logged nearly 17,000 new cases. 4 laboratories were not able to submit data. Now, 2 lawmakers, one of them a former health chief, pushing for the use of booster shots, but only for healthcare workers and people with comorbidities. At an online forum, they said there is no time to waste, citing breakthrough infections or infections among vaccinated individuals. The World Health Organization called for a moratorium on booster shots until the end of the year because of limited supply.
So if we don't do third shots or booster shots for healthcare workers and people with comorbidities, magko-collapse yung ating healthcare system. That's just my point. Everything is new. We cannot just make decisions based on WHO recommendations. We should make decisions because that is what our country and what our people needs.
It's not just the booster shots, Ang sabi ko nga, yung 2022 budget is not ready for a war with COVID. Walang budget for contact tracing, napakaliit ng budget for free testing, and then ang pinakamalaki pa yung walang ayuda para sa ating mga health workers.
The proposed national budget for next year is 5 trillion pesos. Speaking of funds for the pandemic response, a group warns budget cuts may lead to the further deterioration and eventual collapse of the country's healthcare system. The Alliance of Health Workers says the proposed 242 billion peso budget for the health department already includes the more than 30% or 80 billion peso allocation for PhilHealth. The group says this just reflects the Duterte administration's gross neglect of people's health and safety amid the worsening health crisis. They also pointed out the 0 peso allotment for medical frontliners COVID-19 benefits, which include special risk allowance, hazard pay, and allowances for food, accommodation, and transportation.
Mahaba pa ang laban at nakikita namin na kung hindi papahalagan at bibigyan ng prioridad ng gobyerno ang paglaan ng pondo para sa kalusugan ng mamamayan at kagalingan ng mga health workers, babagsak, magkukulap ang ating buong healthcare system at maraming ospital ang magsasara.
The government says there is no need to panic in the wake of Japan's terrorist alert threat, and groups continue to call for an extension of the voter registration period. Find out what the COMELEC has to say. Details next here on Newsnight.
people of Belarus, my main responsibility was to see to it that the citizens that were in the Philippines were able to get back to their country. With my busy schedule, I discovered MX3 is a big factor in improving our health, and I've been taking it for more than 7 years already. I'm Annette Ablan, the Honorary Consul of the Republic of Belarus to the Philippines.
Mahalagang paalala, ang MX3 capsule ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamitin panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Pogi, no? Dahil yan sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks Coach Shine with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real salmon goodness and omega-3 and 6 for healthy skin and shiny coat. Kita naman, di ba? Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks Coach Shine.
Nagsimula sa isang pangarap.
Ako na po, ma'am.
Ika'y tutulungang ibahin ang buhay na nakasanayan.
Naka 24 months ka na sa pag-ibig.
Panghulog na ako sa motor.
Uy, bagong motor!
Gagawa ng hakbang para mapaghandaan ng forever.
Ganda, ha?
At harapin ang bukas nang may maaasahan. Simulan mo na ang forever mo ngayon. Fund your forever with Pag-ibig Fund.
Register today.
Well, I have a long drive ahead, but before I hit the road, I gotta get this car loaded. Good morning, Kuya. Full tank diesel max, please. Whew. When it comes to fuel efficiency and getting the most out of a full tank, you can trust a diesel engine. Diesel fueled cars, well, they're perfect for those long drives. If you're the kind of person who likes to save money, like me, this is perfect for you. The appealing combination of economy and high performance make diesel engines more attractive to car enthusiasts. Diesel engines have a compression-ignited system wherein the fuel is injected into the combustion chamber of the engine. More energy is being extracted from the diesel, thus providing higher mileage. Over time, deposits build up in the tips of fuel injectors, affecting the overall performance. So it's important to consider a fuel that helps keep injection systems clean, and that's where Petron Diesel Max comes in. It has multifunctional additives to maintain overall cleanliness of fuel injection systems. These additives extend the life of the engine. Petron Diesel Max also provides efficient combustion for maximum acceleration and power, and reliable burning quality. Treating engines with care and filling it with premium quality fuel will increase efficiency and prolong its life. All right, now that my car is filled up with Petron Diesel Max, I'm also pumped to make the most out of this long drive. Drive safely, everyone.
Welcome back to Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. The government calls for calm and vigilance in the wake of a terrorist threat advisory issued by Japan. A defense analyst says the warning should be taken very seriously. Tristan Nadalo has that story.
The Japanese embassy confirms warning its citizens in 6 Southeast Asian countries, including the Philippines, over the possibility of a terror attack. In an email sent to CNN Philippines, the embassy confirms issuing the warning to its citizens but stopped short of providing further details. The warning was issued to Japanese citizens in Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Myanmar. In the website of the Japanese embassy in Malaysia, citizens were advised to steer clear of crowded areas and places of worship that run high risk of possible terror attacks. The Foreign Affairs Department says they have not received any official notice of the warning. But DFA Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin Jr. says that it wouldn't hurt to take extra precautions, citing Japanese intelligence is focused on real threats. The armed forces is validating the advisory, but it says threat level in the country is still moderate.
We should take that tribal advisory very seriously because terrorist threats coming from these countries are real and not imaginary. Considering terror threats
in Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, including Myanmar and Thailand, are in fact part of the ISIS network in Southeast Asia.
Defense officials appeal to the public to stay calm as authorities validate these reports and ensures that our borders are protected from any terror threats. The Philippines has been on heightened alert since 2017 following the Marawi siege. Tristan Odalo, CNN Philippines.
The Coast Guard also saying there is no reason to be alarmed, adding it will continue carrying out round-the-clock seaborne patrol operations and intensify border protection measures. The state auditors revealing national agencies and local governments failed to apply recommendations to address adverse findings in the use of their 2019 disaster funds. In its 2020 report, the Commission on Audit said only 40 or 10% of its recommendations were implemented. COA also noted several deficiencies in the handling of last year's disaster funds, among them the 24.6 million pesos in unliquidated funds spent by the Office of Civil Defense on the installation of water meters.
The Region 10 Environment Department for spending money for Task Force Bangon Marawi on IT supplies. The country may experience more rains in the coming months. The Bureau Pagadian sees a 70 to 80% chance of La Nina forming in the last quarter of the year,